Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's Constance the Reader, and today is part 2 of the reading wrap-up for May. I'm also going to be talking about the cards I pulled for the Naruto TBR game, and kind of a little bit about what I want to read in the month of June. It's not going to be everything, but I got a stack of books around me, so without further ado, let's get into it. I'm going to start off by saying I failed the Naruto TBR. I was supposed to read a book by a debut author. I was planning on reading The Phoenix King and I did not get to it. So I have to accept that I failed. Now, I've already filmed this once before and I'm not really a fan of how it came out. So I'm not going to go through the whole process of reading the slides again. I just don't feel like it. And I don't want to pull the cards again because I actually already found some books that fit them when I first pulled. So we're just going to stick with what we have. We're not going to go through the slides and that's okay. And there you have it. Let's get into what I read in the month of May. Had a lot of really great reads, and one of them was Hot and Sour Suspects by Vivian Chen. I got approved for her next book that comes out in the month of June on NetGalley. So I had this. I was like, let me go ahead, let me be responsible and try to get better at reading what I get from NetGalley and read the one that I have right before the next one comes out, and this did not disappoint as usual. I will say the one thing that was really sad was to read in the beginning where Vivian Chen found out that she had cancer and she went into a remission and recently found out that she has cancer again, which really sucks. I really like Vivian Chen. I hope that she's doing good and is healthy. I will continue to read her books for as long as she wants to write them because I think they're good. And this, like I said, no exception, was really great. Hot and Sour Suspects. We're following the trifecta team now. Megan, Lana, and Kimmy. I've mentioned before, I love Kimmy. I'm sure that she's not everyone's cup of tea, but I love her. So amazing. Kimmy is great. Megan, at her bar that she works at, they've been doing speed dating and it was a great success there. She suggests that Lana does it for the restaurant. They do, and that's where this book opens up. It's the first night of speed dating for Lana in Holy Noodle House. Everything seems to go well, except when their other friend, Rena, is having dinner with a guy that kind of seems like an asshole. A woman comes in and she throws her drink all over him and is like, he's a cheater, he's a piece of crap. What the hell? They try to say something to Rena like, hey, seems like this guy's no good. She says, I'm fine, I'll be good. Of course, the guy she ends up with ends up dead, and that's a problem because Rena is Lana's friend and Lana has to do what she always does and try to solve the case. But Rena is not helpful. Something is obviously going on more that she doesn't want to explain. And there's a bunch of other stuff about this guy that is very shady. I rate this 5 out of 5 stars. Really good. I love the mystery. I love seeing the people that we see. The great thing about Cozy Mystery is that you have your cast of characters. Some people will keep being introduced, but like you have the ones that you really like, and you're going to keep seeing people from past books that like just kind of like make a cameo, maybe relevant to the story. And I just like that about Cozy Mystery. Didn't disappoint. Please read the Noodle Shop Mystery Series. I think it's worth a read personally. Do it. Next, I listened to The Blood Gift, which is the second book in the Blood Trials duology by N.E. Davenport. 5 stars. I do wish that I had re-listened to The Blood Trials before I listened to this. I had actually read The Blood Trials this year, so I really shouldn't have like forgotten anything, but I really listened to that very quickly, and I feel like there were a few things that I just did not remember. So going into the second book, there were a few people I was like, I can't remember who that is. I can't remember exactly what happened. So this is a series I will be listening to all over again because I do think it's worth a re-listen to, a reread. It's that good, but 5 stars nonetheless. I also listened to A Broken Blade by Melissa Blair, another one where I got the second book approved for me on NetGalley, except I hadn't read the first book yet. So I was like, you know what? Again, trying to be better about reading what I got approved for on NetGalley. I was like, I'm going to listen to this first one. It was free on Hoopla, so I was like, why not? So good. Another adult fantasy book that was just like good from start to finish, in my opinion. There was a little bit of romance in it, but I didn't feel like it was too much. Like the story got lost in the romance. And I felt like it was very fast paced, which sometimes we're not used to when it comes to adult fantasy. Let's be honest. It's kind of like super long and you kind of get bored and we're kind of explaining the world too much. I feel like this was like the perfect amount of everything. And I remember seeing this promoted on TikTok when it first was kind of like being promoted on there. Didn't know what it was. Thought it looked really cool, but just never decided to pick it up. I wish that I had, but at the same time, it's okay because I've transitioned right into reading the second book this month, so it was worth the wait. I'm glad I didn't have to wait too much time between. But our main character is a badass. She is working for the king, basically the king's blade, and she has been secretly trying to help other halfling elves within this kingdom that constantly are like abused, oppressed, all while unfortunately having to do the king's bidding. There's this other person that is basically like the menace to the kingdom, always thwarting the plans. And when the main character finally meets that person, sparks kind of fly, if you know what I'm saying. All in all, 5 stars. Honestly, I really do feel like it was a 5-star read. And I, like I said, seamlessly gone into the second book. I'm really enjoying it. I want to buy the physical copies. That's how much I like it. Next, I listened to The Adventures of Amina Al-Sarafi by S.A. Chakraborty. So fucking good. Another adult fantasy book. This is just a one-shot, which I really liked, and I think it was done so well. I would highly recommend anything by S.A. Chakraborty. There's like 1 or 2 books that she wrote that I haven't read. One is, I think, a novella after the David trilogy. I need to read that one. I think there's one other one. I might be wrong, but of what I've got my hands on, I've loved every single one of them. This was no exception. It was so, we're talking female badass pirates. We're talking about treasure, map hunting, fucking evil European man. It was a European? I don't know. We're gonna just say he's European. It was good from start to finish. I would recommend listening to it on an audiobook because I thought the narrators were so good. We have a dual narrative situation, and I felt like the end was such a cool like reveal of who we'd been listening to. I mean, I may have missed it as we kept going, but when it finally was like, yeah, this is who I am, I'm like, ah, that was so great. Fucking fantastic. 5 stars across the board. Read it. I also listened to All the Sinners Bleed by S.A. Crosby. So that's the first book I've ever read by S.A. Crosby. And wow, it was really, really good. Now, I listened to this as an audiobook, and the narrator was amazing. His voice just seemed so familiar, and I could have swore he was the guy who is the narrator on the first 48. It is not that man. But if you've ever watched that show, like, I think that person's voice is like very like, ooh, it's really, you know, the first 48 is sad. Obviously someone's been killed. And I feel like the voice is just like, yeah, you narrating that. Yeah, I get it. It's just good. Same thing with the person who narrated All the Sinners Bleed. It was great. Another 5-star book. Honestly, all of the books that were not manga that I read, I think pretty much all of them were 5 stars. They were that good. No misses, all wins when it comes to that one. All the Sinners Bleed is a like crime thriller, a small town in Virginia, which was kind of cool to read about. I'm in Virginia. I don't really read a lot of stuff that's taking place in Virginia, especially it was close to where I actually live. So there were things that I picked up. I was like, oh yeah, the Richmond VCU Center. I know where that is because I've been there. Very, very cool. But small town in Virginia. This sheriff, his name is Titus. He's a black man, and he is dealing with many different things going on in this small town. We've got like the powder keg of this Confederate monument that people are protesting to be taken down, but also protesting to keep up. But, you know, one side is a little bit more violent, a little bit more abusive. I think we all experienced that throughout these years, especially in Virginia. As someone who, there were many protests in Virginia, in Richmond, to take down the one statue, a man on the horse. I don't even know who it was. I don't care to know who these people are. That's just my opinion. So I know the tension there. I know the tension that lies there. So you've got this going on. You also have a school shooting, except it's a little bit different in that one teacher has been killed by a former student. The teacher is white. The former student is black. The former student, unfortunately, is killed. And people think that it's kind of like Okay, we don't need to go, I mean, we want to know why he did this, but like the killer's gone, so it doesn't matter. But it does matter, because what we find out is the teacher that was killed is a pedophile, and there is something very sinister going on in this small town, and it's pretty sick. This is very graphic. If this was turned into a show, wow, I know that I would be on the edge of my seat, but it would be very, very crazy, very sad. I would highly recommend reading All the Sinners Bleed. Like I said, it's 5 stars. And for my first intro into S.A. Crosby, it was fucking good. As I said, I already pulled these cards, so I'm just gonna read them to you. So I chose Hiran, and that prompt is a book with a rabbit on the cover. I'm going to read What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher, because I have it and I own it. It's on my Kindle, so I'm trying not to buy anything extra. You already don't have a problem with that, since I own this, and I really do need to read on my Kindle more. I will be reading that. I picked an advanced card, which is Sasuke, Hugo, Karen, and Saigetsu, and it was a read a graphic novel. I'm going to be reading The Woods, Volume 1. Someone talked about this on TikTok the other day, and it's free on Hoopla. They said it's basically like if you like Paper Girls and Stranger Things, and I think one other show, you'll like The Woods, so I will be reading that. I picked Sasuke, and his was A Romance with a Fat Lead. I'm going to read The Love Con. I'm really excited. I've already started it, and it's really good. I picked Sai, and the prompt is a book about a vacation. I don't know about this one yet. I actually think I want to listen to a mystery thriller for this one, and Lucy Foley has a book that's suggested a lot. I'm going to do a little bit more research, but I will be doing that one. Then I picked another advanced card, and it was Best Rated Manga, Try First Volume. Oh, sorry. This was also Hiruzen Tsurutobi, the Third Hokage. And because I failed, one of the other things that I had to do for the Naruto TBR challenge was read my worst rated thing on my TBR. So basically, that's just going to come out of whatever I end up choosing to read, right? Like I did last time, I didn't want to go through Goodreads and like pick and choose every little thing. I feel like that's not for me. So we're just going to, once I'm done for the month, see which one was the lowest rated, and we'll be good. So let's get into what I plan on reading in the month of June. So some of the manga I definitely want to read. I want to read In the Clear Moonlit Dusk, Volume 3. Volume 4 comes out this month, so I'm hopefully going to be reading Volume 4 as well. I am trying to get better about reading things when I buy them, but a lot of the stuff I'm buying is like 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 8th, 9th, 10th volume in a series, so I really need to start there. But since I've already read the first 2 volumes, 3 just makes the most sense. 4, I do want to read. I want to finally read Game Between the Suits. This is like a romance, kind of hot, steamy one. I want to read it. We'll see. There's 3 volumes out so far, which I own. Hopefully I can read all 3, but at least the first one will be read by me. I'm going to read volumes 4 and 5 of Spy Family. I'm going to try to keep a good momentum with Spy Family as much as possible. There's only 9 volumes so far, so it really shouldn't be difficult for me, but I don't know, Moon Reader over here. Although I've been doing pretty good about reading the manga I pull for myself. I just unfortunately end up pulling more and more and more, and that's the problem. Next, I want to read volumes. Look at the volume for My Love Mix-Up Volume 3. It's so cute. It's so pretty. I just love it. I'm going to read Volume 3, and I'm going to read Volume 4 of My Love Mix-Up. So far, as I've said, especially my last video if you watched it, I really like My Love Mix-Up. It's very funny. I'm liking this small group of friends. It's wholesome, but it's also funny. It has its moments. I think it's worth it. I also need to read the 2nd volume of The Heroic Legend of Arsland, and I wanted to read The Witch and the Night Will Survive last month. I didn't end up doing that. It's okay. I do plan on reading it this month if I have some time. And last, because I really do want to finish the shorter series that are already here, I want to read Volume 3 and Volume 4 of Our Dreams at Dusk. I did talk about how I liked the first volume, the 2nd volume kind of like, I didn't dislike the 2nd volume, I just really hated the character that we focused on in the beginning. It's so irritating. So I'm hoping I don't see that character again, or if I do, I don't have to know too much about them. I don't care. That really pissed me off. But I'm excited to see where this goes. Obviously a wedding takes place in the 4th volume, and I know who these characters are, so I'm excited to see that. So I can't wait. I know I already mentioned it, but I want to read The Love Con. So I'm already at chapter 8. it's been good so far. I really like this book, so I'm excited that I picked this. It's good. It's good. For the book club with my family, I picked A History of Wild Places by Shay Earnshaw. So it's my month, this month of June, to pick the book, and as I've said before, I'm trying to read all of the Book of the Month Club books I bought that I never ended up reading because I no longer have Book of the Month, but I do want to be committed to reading the shit that I bought. So this one is up. Now, I got recommended this a few times, and I haven't seen anybody say anything bad about it, although, to be fair, I haven't known a lot of people talking about it, and that's okay. But, yes, hopefully it's good. If you have read this, let me know what you thought, and if you liked it. Okay. Some of these I know I've been saying I'm going to read for a while, and that I was going to read last month. I'm still always going to keep my options open, right? Even if I don't read it, I will probably read it. I mean, I'm going to read it eventually. Not probably. I will be reading it eventually, just when I'm in the mood. Who knows? But I do want to read Yours Insatiably. Okay, I want to read my monster romance. I just didn't end up getting to that in the month of May. And then 2 nonfiction books. This one being the one that I've been saying I'm going to read the longest is Loaded. A Disarming History of the Second Amendment by Roxanne Dunbar Ortiz. I said I've wanted to read this since I got it. It's not even that long, so I really just need to sit down, read the bitch, and get it over with, but in a good way. I don't mean that in like a, ugh, I can't stand it. It's just that like, okay, girl. When was the last time I read nonfiction? It feels like forever ago. And I also want to read Savage Appetites, True Stories of Women, Crime and Obsession by Rachel Monroe, a methodical examination of just what it is about murder that obsesses us. Yes. I said I wanted to read this last month too, I think. I just wasn't in the mood to read nonfiction. And I was listening to a lot of audiobooks, so I think I win for that, okay? As long as you read, that's all that matters. And I did. So there you go. Rock on. So yeah, that is the rest of my May wrap up. That is the Naruto TBR game, and that is kind of my TBR. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Amazing. So, yes, that's it. It's Monday. It's the 4th. And next week, I'm going to be going to Tennessee for work. So, hopefully, I've read a lot of this manga because I'm not bringing it with me. I'm going to be gone till Thursday. Leave Monday, come back Thursday. Have to work Friday. Then I'm off until the next week. I don't plan on bringing a lot with me. I'm not going to make a promise, but I did want to try to film while I'm there. Now, I'm not going to film everything because it's a work trip, but like what I pack, like what books I'm bringing, what's going to be in my bag. If anybody wants to know what the fuck is going to be in my carry-on, let me know because I'd love to show you. And then, you know, just like what the fuck is going on? I don't know. We'll see. I'm not like totally excited about it because I don't like work. And this is the second time since I've had this job that we got to go on this work trip. Obviously, we couldn't do it in 2020. We didn't do it in 21 and 22. We just did it virtually, which I would have preferred because I don't like being around people. But unfortunately, it's back, and I have to be around a bunch of people. Luckily, I like some of my coworkers, so that's what I'm most looking forward to. But I hate being on an airplane, and I hate being at the airport, so wish me luck. And that is it. Thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, please like the video. If you like it, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Follow me on other social media. It's down in the description box below. And thank you so much for watching. Have a good day. Goodbye.